Morning, welcome to the Morning Post, brought to you by the Racing Post, sponsored by William Hill. Don't need to adjust your sets, I'm roughly the same size as Dave Orton, who's not here. For some unknown reason, I've cut short my holiday to come in while Dave Orton is on holiday, which is quite weird, but we've got some, I was going to say cracking racing, but I did get a message on Twitter of someone saying you do well to talk this up. Well, I think you can talk it up in certain respects. We've got a Group 1 winner, a Nunthorpe winner, Living the Dream. We've got a dual Stewards Cup winner. We've got a Royal Ascot winner on the card. So while it's necessarily slightly lower standard than a normal Saturday, that's understandable because Royal Ascot is around the corner. There's still some cracking races on the card, and we've got a great panel to join us today, starting with Mr. Pricewise himself, Tom Segal. How are you?
Hi, Keels. Yeah, you're looking very tanned.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, I've had a nice few days in the sun.
Yeah, looking good. No, I like it. I like betting at Haydock. I like tipping at Haydock. I think it's a good track, suits my sort of style and way of thinking. So, quite happy to get stuck into the racing today.
Talking of Haydock, now the 27 non-runners last night.
I know.
Fast ground.
I know.
We moan at courses all year round for putting too much water on, and then they don't water, and that's what they get.
I know.
So you can sort of understand why they do that these days, can't you? Because trainers do not want to run their horses.
Exactly, and then we woke up this morning to see that there's been 7 mils of rain.
And it's now good to firm in
Exactly.
So these horses that came out last night, because
your
of the
Noble
going,
Dynasties and your Maglarks, which were favourite for 2 of the big races, could be running.
Could be running. Madness.
Ridiculous.
Also joining us, Robbie Wilders, the anti-postman.
I'm back in the chair. Thanks for giving me my self-appointed nickname there, mate.
That's great, isn't it? The anti-postman. It's good though, isn't it?
Yeah, I invented it, yeah.
Oh, good.
Because Jimmy Pugh, audience editor, head of audience now, I think, he said there's room for an anti-post email. I'm eyeing you up, Rob. And he's like, can you come up with a name? I came up with that, and they went for it, so brilliant.
Genius. Where did you get it from? I can't... He's asked you for an anti-post column, and you're a man. How did you come up with it?
I don't know, they lapped out, though. Well, I can't remember my own jingle as well.
Did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. No, it's not seen the light of day yet, but...
Yeah, not surprising.
No. I think you should be the anti-post person these days.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right, anyway, welcome to you two, gents. We've also got from the William Hill Trading Floor, we've got Jamie McBride. Jamie, how you doing?
Morning, Paul. Yep, like you said, it's a necessary lull between Epsom and Ascot, but there aren't actually. It still looks competitive enough, and winners will be hard enough to find. There's not actually that many short price favourites on the TV card, so we've had to become a little bit creative with the boost. And sadly, the horse has gone for a bit of a walk in the market in the last hour or so, but we have gone for Flight Plan in the John O'Gaunt. We are 4-1 from 11-4 that he finishes in the first 3. So that's today's boost.
Well, you may or may not like that boost. That's a big price drift, though. That's 4-1 from 11-4. And let's not forget that Hills found themselves filled in last week with the first 3 with City of Troy at 6-4 for the Derby. Moving on, we've got the papers, I believe. Here we go, a proper sporting Saturday. 2 rugby finals. Somebody will have to tell me what they are because I know nothing about rugby whatsoever.
Me and Tom were discussing about who those fellas
were. Trying to work out who these fellas were.
I've got the top middle, that's Finn Russell, the Scotland rugby player. Apart from that, mate, I'm lost.
I can do the cricketers and the horses.
It's like the cricketers. England v Australia in the 2020. Oh, they've gone already. Right, dawn to dusk. Racing offers something for every punter. There you go. And living the dream. Unlikely to get an easy lead on the front end, say Keith Melrose and extra reporting by Andrew Deeds. I'm not sure about that, chaps. No. I think he might, something that'll have to be very quick to lead him. But Johnny Dineen, Nunthorpe hero, Haydock Labe, Speedy Mayman, a solid bet. Resident pro from Ireland, Johnny Dineen, has a strong fancy. And don't forget, later on this week, we've got the Euro 2024 betting guide. 72 pages, and there are even people on that front page that I could name.
Yeah, who can you name, Keels, please?
Well, one of them's Mbappe, one of them's Harry Kane, and that might be Ronaldo on the other side. I have no idea about the other 2.
So complete the list, please.
Andy Robertson, number 10. Is it Leroy Sané? Not sure.
Jamal Musiala, mate.
Got it wrong.
Who's a keeper at the top?
Which keeper?
Holding the it was Donnarumma.
I was going to get it. But it went.
Right, they've changed it.
Right, now, chaps, we're going to have a Derby roundup. I was really like to still be on holiday rather than show my face after my tipping performance at Epsom last week. But I know you did well, Tom. You had a 16-1 with anti-post of the Oaks. You managed to get Royal Scotsman home. Horse
what do you mean managed? You won by miles.
So yeah, there's a horse that I backed pretty much.
Did you back it up?
No, I didn't. But every single time he ran last year, and I jumped off. You jumped off. He won by half the track. But let's talk about the Derby. How good is City of Troy?
I think he's brilliant. I was really, really impressed. Not sure the rest are that good, but I thought he was brilliant. I love the way, I'm a big horse sort of watcher, and I thought the way he sort of changed his legs and went again and couldn't be pulled out. He won so easily.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was like last year. They struggled to pull him up at the end. And it just looked like they couldn't. I mean, he could go again.
He could go. He looked like he had so much left.
I remember, I for my ills, I'd criticised the appointment of Rab Havlin, and I went on Twitter saying he's actually giving him a great ride there, and I got pelters from everybody saying he should have gone earlier and more. I think if he'd have gone earlier, he'd have got beaten further.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The horse ran his best.
He beat the rest comfortably.
Exactly. He ran a career best by miles.
Ran into a very, very good horse who came from the back and just didn't stop.
Exactly.
And was, I think, faster in the last 2 furlongs and ambient friendly anyway.
Exactly.
I
didn't think there was much. I mean, I like ambient friendly. I didn't. People are trying to talk up Los Angeles and Deer a Mile for races. I'm totally not.
Los Angeles was always up there on quite a fast pace, though. He didn't throw in the towel, did he?
He's a lummox. He's a slow old boat.
I think he's good. I think ambient. I think the first 3 are very good horses.
See, I wouldn't back that. I would doubt Aidan O'Brien could work Los Angeles with City of Troy.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're totally different styles.
I said beforehand, I thought he was a bit of a boring horse.
Yeah.
And he probably still is. But I think he's a pretty good one, though.
He might win a St. Ledger.
He might win a Ledger, mightn't he?
Yeah. He might win that, but I'm not convinced. I think
he could easily.
I think ambient are friendly, so
rematching the Irish Derby without City of Troy, obviously. Who would win, ambient friendly or Los Angeles?
Well, I think ambient friendly is a miles better horse, but the Curragh is a law unto itself. If it got quick and Los Angeles got on the lead, it's very hard to make up a lot of ground at the Curragh. I think ambient friendly is totally different class, but if it got quick at the Curragh, then I give Los Angeles a chance. But I'm not a Camelot fan. I think they regress. So I would be against him a little bit wherever he runs, if truth be told.
Okay, fair enough. Right, Jamie, I'm kind of hoping that Hills had as bad a Epsom meeting as I did. You were sticking out 6-4 City of Troy, first 3 places. Did you get filled in, or were punters like us a little bit reticent?
No, we did definitely get filled in. It was a game of 2 horse. We had a cracking day on the Friday, getting Ylang beat, but all that good work and more was done by City of Troy. The boost was obviously popular. It was a terrible result in the main book. I think we said probably the worst Derby result for 10 years or so. But I think with my racing fan hat on, I think it was probably a good result for overall, though, because the flat season probably does need a superstar to emerge. I think it's also good for the Derby to have a brilliant winner with the likes of Economics not running in it. I think it was in danger of becoming an earlier version of the St. Ledger, so that I think the Derby was good for the race overall.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Now, just talk about him running in the Travers later in the season, and obviously there must be Breeders' Cup Classic on the line, but his next race, I don't quite know where it's going to be. Have you got some odds on some possibilities?
We're not betting on the Irish Derby, we're just waiting to hear. It does look as though the last couple of days there's been a move from in the Eclipse. So we are currently 7-4 for the Eclipse, which would probably shorten again if it was confirmed. But it does look as though the market moves in the last 48 hours suggest Sandown is next on the agenda.
Right, just run through, if you can, some of the other potential rivals for him in the Cliff so we can balance that 7-4.
We are 4-1 Passenger. We are also 4-1 Economics, who isn't actually entered in the race. He would need to be supplemented. And then we're down to 7-1 Inspiral and 8-1 August Rodin.
I think you can probably change those 7 and 4s around, Jamie, if he runs. It's probably more likely to be 4-7.
Yeah, he'll be short. I would have thought he'd be shorter than that, to be honest. He's going to end up pretty short, isn't he? Although Passenger did look very good at Chester, didn't he?
Did.
In a very,
big White Birch fan as well.
Yeah, I'm a
Would you like White Birch?
I like White Birch. Yeah, that was very impressive.
He threw down a marker for maybe being the best older middle distance.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
It's the first horse to beat an in-form August Rodin.
And he did it on the bridle.
Did it very.
Do you think he'd be all right if it was a quick ground? It probably never gets too quick at Sandown, does it?
Never gets too quick, but also you got to remember it was firm in the Dante last year.
Yeah, that's true. That was a big one.
It was literally firm, so I wouldn't be too worried about ground fear.
Excellent. Right, where are we going now, chaps? We're going. Let's get into the race preview, shall we? What have we got first? Yeah, here we go. We have the Nunthorpe winner, Living the Dream in the Achilles Stakes. A very, very short price favourite. 5 furlongs, fast ground, not quite as fast as we thought it was going to be.
No, he's got a very good chance, hasn't he? Obviously, he's clear form pick on the Nunthorpe run, but that is a bit of a standout run, isn't it? I'm a little bit wary of York 5 form on the straight track there. Was beaten in the Temple last year and this year. I mean, I don't know. I think he's the most likely winner. Would I back him at even money? No, I wouldn't. I think there's some pace pressure. I like you. I don't think the others will be able to go fast enough to keep up with him, but they might make him go a little bit too fast, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying, but when you suggested an easy lead, he just runs the pace he wants to run at.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's not going to make any difference.
I don't think he's going to be put on under any more pressure. It just depends on whether anything can pick him up. Now, I'm actually quite a fan of him because I thought that was easily his best run on easy going.
Yeah.
Last time. Which could be an indicator that he's improved further.
Could be. It's just how you
first run.
It's just how you sort of extrapolate the form, isn't it? I mean, Kurdos could be an improved horse. It could have been a funny race because they sort of came up the middle. I don't know. I just wouldn't, even money's I'm going to take him on anyway. I thought Believing had a chance. A little bit disappointed that the rain came. If you watch back the Sprint Cup last year, she was drawn in the wrong place. She went really hard with Regional. Now, Regional was not as fast as Living the Dream, but Believing's pretty good.
Well, there was one race last night. I mean, some of the times were fairly slow for good football, but there was one race that suggested it was borderline firm ground.
Yeah.
It was only a 4-runner novice, wasn't it? So, I mean, will it be that bad? It all depends on how long it rains for, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be far side of good, probably.
Yeah. Jamie, how do you see this? Strong favourite for you?
Yeah, we are even money and it's very popular. We're top price guarantee in this race. We're top price every horse against all the other major firms. It's a good, strong offer to start the day. And Living the Dream is very popular even. So I personally made him a shade of odds on. So I can see why he is popular evens. And the other loser in the book at the moment is Marshman. There's been nibbles for that as well.
Right, okay. Robbie, how do you see it then?
Yeah, just at the start of the week, I thought he was probably actually quite fair around 6-4. He's more like it now. I think he ran a lot better than they expected on his return in the Temple. The soft, because of his racing style, he's so quick. The soft ground would have sort of slowed him down a little bit. He wants slightly faster ground to recede to best effect because he is that rapid. It is going to be quicker despite the rain that has come overnight. But I don't know. I think he's a potential class apart here. I'm not sure this is as good a race as the Temple. So, I think he should get the job done. I mean, Democracy Dilemma is one I'll throw in who is rapid as well. I just don't know if he's going to have the class to last out. But
good effort under that weight, though, at Epsom, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think he could be
carrying weight downhill is a lot easier than carrying it uphill. Yeah.
He could be a pattern horse quite easily. But ultimately, I think this is a slightly weaker race than the Temple, and Living the Dream should be better for the run. So I think he'll win.
I'm pretty much in agreement. I didn't really understand the money he said there was for Marshman.
No,
he just hasn't done anything, has he?
I was impressed with. I've been impressed with him a few times, and then he's one of those that could bounce back. But I like backing horses that can bounce back in bad races. This is a good race.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it is a good race.
Yeah.
So you're believing, and you're okay with the trip.
Yeah, I think she'll like it. I think she'll like it. Yeah, she's only had one trial in her life. I think she's pretty quick. Yeah.
I always find it can be a little bit of a shock to the system, especially when you've got a horse as fast as...
Can be, and she's had a bit of a break. But I thought, she's 7-1. Getting £5 from her.
7-1 the value. I'm in the Living the Dream camp.
Same here, mate.
There we go. We shall move on. Race 2. Here we go. A 1 mile 4 furlong handicap. We did have a favourite in Magleek, one of the horses that was taken out because of ground that would be absolutely perfect for him now. I don't know why they have to do it then. It's madness, isn't it?
Ridiculous. Yeah, they was giving me my tips. I had to have a complete refit.
Wait till the morning, walk the course. You know what I mean?
What's the rush? It doesn't help us when we're trying to put a paper together the night before.
Whatsoever. Jamie, Davina Grace, a strong favourite now though at 5-2.
Yeah, popular. Definitely the most popular at the front end. There's been 2 for money here. Davina Grace, like I say, is the most popular at the front end. We're 4-1, and there's a 20p rule 4, so works out at shade above 3-1. So they've still got the value there, the punters. And the one at the bigger price for money is Struth, who's we were 12-1 on Thursday, and that's kind of almost half in price.
Robbie, you like?
Yeah, I like Struth. Yeah, he was my backup if Maglock didn't run. these Charlie Johnston horses can be a little bit in and out. He didn't run too well at Epsom last time, but he's definitely on a decent mark based on a lot of his form last season. Put up his best top speed figure at Haydock last season. I'm not seeing that much pace in here either. He could easily go forward. He's ridden by Richard Kingscourt, who's got a good tune out of him in the past. Just thought he was one that might short, and he has been clipped in a bit, but it's a pretty open race. And the rain overnight might not have completely helped Davina Grace, but we'll see.
Yeah, I really don't think it'll be that bad. But Charlie Johnston, following the footsteps of the old man, we used to call him the binary trainer, didn't we? 1-0, 1-0, 1-0.
Yeah, it just can't put you off, can it?
Some of them don't. Sometimes they run terribly, but they run them a lot.
Yeah, exactly. They keep them busy.
And overall, they thrive for it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean?
Yeah,
they can run through the season, have loads of runs, and still throw in, career best at the end of the season as well as in the middle of.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beauty of it. And the prices are going to reflect that, because the form figures you'll see 7 and 0, but it's not beyond the realms of possibility. He does bounce back at a course he obviously likes.
Fair enough. I quite like Davina Grace myself. I'm a big fan. I backed her last time at Goodwood. She's just very, very consistent. I think she is improving as well. She was under a really big weight last time against some unexposed horses, and funny enough, it was some of the more exposed horses that beat her. But I just thought it was a fine run. Ray Guess is brilliant with these fillies anyway, isn't he? So I think she's a pretty solid fab, and it's unusual for me. I seem to be a fab player today.
2 fabs for you.
Yeah.
What's happened?
What's going on? Yeah, you got
changed
been to
chair.
Croatia. Been to Croatia. He's come back a different man.
Morning. I didn't do quite the. I didn't do quite the study that I normally do. While you two here are the experts.
We have been working this week.
And
to
I'm
be
just
fair,
you've been working. I've been
grafting away.
You've been sunning yourself, not playing golf for once, Gills.
Not playing golf. No. Wandering around. Mountains with Mrs. K.
Yeah. I'm with you on Davina Grace. Struth is interesting because on last year's form he's got a chance. It just goes against the way I look at racing. He was
Royal Scotsman you put up there, didn't you?
Yeah, but he was down in grade. Struth was so rubbish at Epsom, wasn't he? And I think he had an advantage. I thought the best ground by miles was on the inside at Epsom that day. He made the running. Lots of horses made the running at Epsom. Trap won 3 of the last 3 races. I thought he was in the perfect position to run well, and he didn't. Now, it might have been the track. He had cheek pieces on. I totally get where you're coming from with the Charlie Johnston horses, that you can back them. I think 6-1 now is plenty short enough for me. But he can bounce back.
Iron Lion, anyone?
Yeah,
I fell for him a few times.
Yeah, I think the rain will help him. The easing of the ground might help him a bit. But
he's just one of those, just not consistent enough, is he?
Knightswood seems best at Ripon.
He seems best at Ripon.
Don't know.
Wise Eagle a few times. But he's one of those that pops up, isn't he?
Yeah, I just thought, like you,
he's very solid.
There's lots of reasons not to back the others, and it's hard to find a reason that Davina Grace isn't going to run a race. Now, that you're right, Struth could easily bounce back and beat her. But I think Davina Grace is the one that's most likely to run a race, so she'll do for me.
Yeah, 2 votes for Davina Grace, 1 for Struth. Who are you on again, Jamie?
I liked in this one the bottom horse. I thought had a chance. The rain might be against it. Melek Al-Ray, but I gave him a squeak at a double figure price.
Excellent. Right, moving on. I've got a glass of water, thankfully. The producer's done a terrible job today. I nearly stopped speaking.
Thank you, my friend.
Cheers, Dave.
Thank you very much. Right, here we go. Move on to the 3 o'clock.
We're at the 4th walk.
Haydock. This is the Leicester Piggott Fillies Stakes, Group 3, Queen of the Pride favourite. Jamie, it's 7-2.
Yep, Miss Cantic is non-runner here, so there'll be a 10p rule 4 to anyone who bet before she came out, and it will have a big impact on the race. Obviously, she was going to be the obvious pace in the race. And again, like the previous race, 2 for money, 1 at the front end, 1 at a fancy price. Queen of the Pride is strong at the front end of the market. We were 7-1 on Thursday. Obviously, there's a small rule 4 in there. And the one at the bigger price that there's been money for is Scenic, who was 25-1 earlier in the week.
Well, don't forget 4 places instead of 3 in this race. It is wide open. I came down last night with my brief look, Tom, on Night Sparkle, and then I found out that you've tipped her.
Yeah, I like her. Back down in trip a bit, but I don't think that's a problem. I think Haydock's the best front runners track in the country by miles. Now, Miss Cantic being out helps her a lot because I think she'll make the running under Kevin Stock coming back in trip. I just was impressed with her last year. She was beating some good 3-year-old fillies, giving them tons of weight. And I thought she came back looking better than ever. That was for Michael O'Callaghan. She's moved to Andrew Balding. I think she looked better than ever.
I thought she ran an absolute cracker at York.
Yeah.
And Yes, she's dropping down in trip, but she'd have won the race at a mile and a half.
Exactly.
You know,
I think mile and a half is perfect for her.
You know, there could be more to come from at the drop-in trip.
And I get the Queen of the Pride pedigree angle and unexposed angle, but she's drawn on the outside. It's tricky. She's going to be dropped in. I don't know. She might be too good for them on pedigree and the connections and everything, but I don't like the way the race sets up for her that much. So I'd be against her a little bit. I like Night Sparkle. I see the sort of wise guy, scenic sort of Ed Walker, great form, very well bred, sort of, you know, taking a chance at a big price on her. I see that a little bit, and I thought Lady Boba could go well for Rafe Beckett because she was really impressive in France last year.
Right, Robbie.
Yeah, I've been covering your weekend, the column actually this week, mate. I put up Hills were going 8-1.
You'll do a better job than I have so far.
No, I'm still an amateur. I was interested in Queen of the Pride. Hills were going 8-1, and the week before that was quite tempting because a lot of these are quite closely matched. She's the one who could just blow it apart. The draw's not been too kind to her. I mean, she's going to keep getting better. She's obviously by a Roaring Lion out of Simple Verse, that top class stayer. You might prefer a bit of better ground. It's a good run on her return against much more experienced fillies. Just throw in, as I say, I'm not overly a bit worried about the draw with her. Throwing one at a big price would be Carnarvon. She's also drawn wide, to be fair, but she is one who
third in the
she
Oaks,
goes back. She's third in the Oaks, fourth in the Guinness. She's like off the page. She's like 22-1. I mean, she's been poor this season.
She's got the best form, but it's becoming increasingly ancient, isn't it? And that's the problem. Because I mean, the Oaks run's really good. Third in the Oaks, only beaten a couple of lengths. I mean, she was beating miles when fourth in the Guineas. I think something like 11 lengths.
That's true.
You know, and that doesn't read as a good form. But she had other good runs as well.
Nassau, she won the Nassau.
She was only beating 2.5, 3 lengths in the Nassau. Wasn't she? I know she was 5th or 6th, but she also wasn't far behind Waipiro at Royal Ascot. When not getting the best of runs.
Yes, and
back to that day.
And Jack Shannon's in tremendous form. And their horses are running out of their skins this year.
I mean, she is one that, on her best form, she's entitled to be up there with the market leaders. You can understand why she is the price she is, but it wouldn't surprise you if she ran well.
Not at all.
It's that sort of race that you can make cases for so many, like even going off the page again. I thought Starry Heavens is potentially quite a big price for Jess Carrington. Jamie Spencer up. She's got a bit to find, but she was eye-catching in that Curragh listed race last time, behind a good horse of William Haggis's. It's tough. Like if I was doing a play spot here, I'd be having absolute nightmares. I think Queen of the Pride's got short enough of that draw, but I'll stick with her.
I mean, one of our producers, Dave Lowe, was talking to me earlier on and said he fancied one at a big price, which one is unusual for him because he never normally backs anything bigger than evens. 2, I'd normally double the price of anything he fancies. But would you give Ching Shi any chance?
Nah.
Didn't know she was running.
There you go.
Not on his radar. No, what's Dave's angle there, please?
He couldn't explain it himself.
Has he just got some intel from connections?
I think it was one vodka too many last night.
I think the rain will have helped her, but I'm not sure it'll be soft enough yet.
Bad luck, Dave. Right, sorry, Jamie. Who was your pick?
I like Sapphire Seas. Yeah, I think this is a bit of a drop in grade. She run against the likes of Blue Slockman and Free Wind last time. Maybe she sort of kicked on 2C up the York Straight. I thought this drop in grade, she was the one to beat.
Right, fair enough. Right, Jamie, we're moving to Beverley, and I'm going to stick with you. This is a wide open handicap. I had next to no idea, so come on, give me a steer.
It is wide open. The main mover is Billy B. We were 9-1 on Thursday. There's 15p rule 4 in that, but that's still a significant mover. And again, a couple of being backed at fancy prices. Yoshimi, it was 40-1. And there's also been nibbles for one at an even bigger price, Visibility at 50-1. There's been bits and pieces for that.
Fair enough. Who did you like yourself?
Not at the price it is now, but you can see the case for Billy B. At the prices now, maybe Sapphire isn't totally exposed, and that could be the one.
Right, OK, don't forget, William Hill paying 5 places instead of 4 in this race too. It is wide open. There's a horse in there that was 5th in a Coventry Stakes.
I knew you'd like that. I knew you'd like that.
Well,
the Richard Spencer groupie.
Well, I don't do know him, but you know, I certainly haven't asked him about the horse. But he won on his debut, and he's 0 from 16 since. Managed to get beat at 5 on at Catterick last year. Has bits and pieces of form that say he's absolutely lobbed in off 79, but not his last one. I mean, there's another old favourite of mine, Hugo Gregory, in this, but his first time out. He's been in the first 2 on half his starts at Beverley, and he's 28-1. So I'll be sort of half tempted, but I'm guessing really. So come on, over to you, boys.
We're all guessing on this one, mate. There aren't that many household names here, are there? Let's be honest. The one in your column, I sort of trying to spy, because there was a shaky favourite at the start of the week in this, I thought, who probably wouldn't have run because he was declared for another race. He's not running. The market's cut in a bit. I thought Eligible was interesting at the start of the week because online through Trope Power, only 3/4 of a length split him at York in a pretty decent 20-runner race, but Eligible had a sort of quite a fairly worse trip than Trope Power that day, and now he's £2 better off. Run well at Beverley in the past. But the one I'm going to come down on is Sapphire. She could be a class above her mark because she's only run 6 times. She looks like she's improving. Her Newcastle run last time was quite eye-catching. She was sick that day, but a rider just had nowhere to go. He finished with running to give off the same mark, should be fitter, just lightly raced. That was probably the one for me, Sapphire. What about you, Tom?
Oh, don't ask me, it's way too hard. This is not my type of race at all. Billy B, I thought, had a very good chance.
They're a level below where you like to strike, aren't they?
Exactly. It's below my class, this one.
Tom, snob, never been able to get on a bus in his life. So certainly doesn't bet in Class 3 handicaps or Class 4 handicaps, whatever it is. Right, we go on to the feature now. A terrific. I actually do think this is a very good race, actually, the John O'Gaunt Stakes. You can see you don't get many Group 3 races where it's 9-2 to field. It's going to be, it's going to be hard to find the winner. Jamie, anything coming for much support?
Yep. I'll just go back and say on that Beverley race, we're 4 places now because of the non-runners, not 5. We're playing 4 places on the 14, and in this race we are also an extra place 4 places. Like you say, it is a really good race with lots of names punters to be familiar with. A couple in particular that always seem to be strong in the market and are again so today are Popmaster and Quinault. I know Tom's put up Quinault, but he is always a popular horse anyway. So they're the 2 for money. But there has been a good spread of business. It is a good race.
Yeah, it is undoubtedly a very good race. It's going to be tough to find a winner, or is it? Now, I'm a bit of a witch hunter groupie, chaps. I backed him for the Queen Anne. I backed him for the Lockins the other day, and I'm marking him up a little bit for that because I just think there were 2 horses that ran away from him, and he beat all the good ones on his side. And I think what he needs is a really strong run race over 7 furlong or a mile. Might be a straight track horse.
That's what I think.
But I think he's a horse who wants a big field and a pace. And when you look at the horses we've got in here, Pogo, Point Liners, Popmaster, Quinault, they've all gone from the front before. I mean, Popmaster and Quinault have done it at 6 furlongs as well. Just interests me. He's going to come,
He's going to need luck, isn't he? Stall 1's a bit tricky for him.
He's not going to, I think he's going to have to swing wide in the straight or go for one of those daring runs and just wait and wait and wait. And I don't think he's a horse you want. If he gets knocked out of his stride, he's not going to get picked up again. So I'd like to see him swing around the outside myself. But I do think he's the best horse in the race.
Undoubtedly, I think he's a really good horse. But my issue with him, one is straight track. All his form's been at when they've gone really hard on a straight track. And if you remember back to Ascot last year, Jamie Spencer gave him a world. He came through and won the Buckingham Palace.
Yep.
And then he won a group race at Newbury on a straight track where they went hard again. It's just they're going to go hard, but whether he's as effective having his stride
he charged home from off the pace here earlier in the season, but pace wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
And so I can see.
It's just my issue with him at the top of the market. But I agree with you. He's the best horse in the race. As you say, there's loads of pace here. When I think that, it tends not to happen, and when I don't think that, it does happen.
I was going to say, the one thing you can almost guarantee about when you talk about pace in the race, if you suggest that there's going to be a massive burn-up and a pace collapse, right, that all filters its way through to connections.
Yeah, exactly.
And they say to each other, don't go too hard, don't go too hard.
Exactly.
Whereas if there's only one front runner in the race and you say it's going to be slowly run, it's slowly run because nobody wants to take them on and be the one to sacrifice their own chances.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So, but once you start talking about pace and say it's going to be fast, the amount of times it isn't,
Exactly.
and we've had front-running winners at County Hurdles and other big,
lots of places. The one thing I would say is I don't think they can stop Point Liners from going fast.
No.
Whereas I think Quinault, Pogo, and Popmaster they're more tractable. You can maybe drop, maybe not Quinault so much, but definitely the other two.
Will they be round a bend more tractable?
It's a question. But I would imagine Point Linus will get the lead. I would imagine Quinault will sit in behind him and Pogo on the. But who knows how fast they'll go?
Yeah.
It's a guessing game. So I personally thought Quinault would. I just like the form from last year at York when he beat Millstream and Washington Heights, both group winners since this year. Group six furlong group winners. Yes, I think they are. Yeah, Millstream won the Duke of York. Washington Heights won the
Stakes.
The Ante.
I'm interrupting you, please.
So I thought the form's very good. I liked his comeback run. He was drawn away from the action and ran fine. He beat Potmaster as a 3-year-old last year at Ascot. I just thought he's the type of horse I like. He's just very.
He beat Washington, kept beating Washington Heights last year. Washington Heights was
a
horse of mine all last year, and I kept saying there's a good horse waiting to break out. Was I on for the Aberdeen Stakes?
No, of course you weren't. Of course you weren't. So I just thought if Quinault didn't go too fast too soon, I like horses that can get rolling at Haydock. I thought it was perfect for him. He might be a bit like Witch Hunter. He might be straight track. All his running's been on a straight track, I think.
I mean, a lot of these do like a straight
Yeah.
track. And the Jumbie won the race last year, Robbie.
Yeah, I think one thing about this race, it's better than we normally see. Like a lot of these 7 furlong races, apart from the one at York, which is worth like an awful lot of money. A lot of these like cut up to like 5 or 6 runners, and it's the same sort of horses like your Pogos and Jumbies. And they've got a lot of like new horses to face this time. I mean, you've got to respect Jumbie because he's obviously won it before, and he does have the form if he bounces back. But the one I liked at the start of the week, he's a bit shorter now. Again, sorry for saying that, but Ramazan, he's the one who's just on a real up curve for Richard Fahey, who's obviously been banging in an awful lot of winners lately. Thought it was a good run last. He was given £1 to the Wizard of Eye in the Victoria Cup. The Wizard of Eye was obviously chucked in on his old form on his stable debut for Charlie Fellows. He's obviously been revitalised. And even go back to his run before that at Thirsk, I know Shartash was in a different league that day. He was giving him £4. Shartash is a horse Mr. Segal and myself like for Royal Ascot Group 1 later in the show. But he's just improving. I don't know exactly what his ceiling is yet, and he's going to get the race run to suit. He needs a strongly run 7, I think. I think there's plenty to like there. I'd be surprised if he's out of the first 3 or 4.
I wouldn't be surprised if anything was out.
No, that's it.
Actually, that is quite a silly thing to say. Can I just take that back?
Incredibly open.
Because I don't really dislike many of them, to be honest.
That's the point, isn't it? They've all got a chance.
Yeah. I mean, when you said, it's interesting, when you said it was a bigger price to start of the week, when it comes to the race day, do you come around to, do you stick with it, or do you change your mind and look at the prices
I'm not going to go back in. You have to take a sort of fresh view. But my backup plan was...
The point is, would you back him at the price he is now?
If I hadn't already, yes, but
yes.
I have.
Right, yeah, so there's no need to go into the end, but you still think he's valuable at what he is.
Yeah, I don't know what I think, mate.
It's hard. It's a hard race. You can make a case for all of them. I like TIBER Flow a bit. He had a terrible fall, didn't he? Was it
all right,
York
let's give
time?
Jamie the last word then. Jamie, who did you like here? Did you manage to make it a little bit easier?
No, they have put this under too hard. I haven't had a bet in the race, but like you, I'm also on Witch Hunter for the Queen Anne, so I hope he doesn't do anything to diminish his chances for that. And also, Quinault was very high on my list for the Wokingham, so in an ideal world, I wouldn't mind them seeing finish 2nd or 3rd and get himself really well in for the Wokingham. Maybe Luke Catton taking 5 off back at Ascot. That might be the day. But in terms of today, I thought it was too hard. I haven't had a bet.
Right, fair enough. There we go. 3 bets coming. Right, come to my favourite part of the show now, as I get to shut up and we go to Ireland and talk to our Irish correspondent. This week is the great DJ David Jennings. DJ, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. You're not looking as brown as me.
No, that's a very, very nice tan. That's a lot of golf, that tan is.
Right, what's going on in Ireland then, matey? First of all, before we go on about the Irish racing, let's get stuck into the derby. What did you make of City of Troy? Where does he go next? What about the other Irish classic contenders for Maiden O'Brien, Opera Singer? Come on, tell us all about them. What's the plans?
Well, first things first, there was nobody more surprised than me with City of Troy's performance. I did the big interview with Aidan in the Racing Post leading up to the Derby. And even the stuff he was saying, I didn't believe. And I'd done basically the same interview the year before with Augusta Rodin. But I said in the piece, I said, this is a different horse, different year, different set of circumstances. And we can't just say because he did it with Augusta Rodin that he would do it with City of Troy. But yet he did it with City of Troy. I was very surprised. I can see both sides of the argument. Now, there's a lot of people saying, why are we giving Aidan O'Brien all this praise? Tom wrote a piece, and when he wasn't ready for the Derby or for the Guineas, and then he showed what he can do in the Derby because he wasn't fully prepared, as Aidan said, for the Guineas. And then I can see the other side of the master trainer resurrecting a horse that looked really, really poor in the Guineas. A bit like Tom, it's hard to believe he did run so bad in the Guineas, and the whole heartbeat excuse I thought was a bit watery at the time, and he delved into real detail about that excuse to me, and the more he was talking almost the less I believed it, and he was obviously completely right, because it actually all does add up now. So I take my hat off to him. I thought it was a terrific training achievement by a brilliant trainer. Where will he go next? I think he'll go to the Irish Derby next, but I could be completely wrong. I just think I had a chat with actually Conor Fennelly, our other Irish correspondent, and he reckons, sure, what's the point in going to the Irish Derby? My point in going to the Irish Derby would be the one thing he has to prove now is his reliability. A bit like Augusta Rodin, where we're saying, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. And I know Augusta Rodin went on to win the Irish Derby after the Derby, and then he threw in a stinker in the King George. But I'd just love to see him running the Irish Derby, just to so we know that he is the horse he looked at Epsom, just for proof. And then he can go on and do what he has to do then against mile and a quarter horse. Was that a yawn from Tom Segal?
That wasn't me, no.
Sorry, DJ, I sneezed, mate.
That wasn't me.
Hay fever's hitting me.
DJ, let me ask you a question about the thing he said about the heart rate stuff. If that's true, there must be 30 horses a day that run like that, that run 40 pounds below form. I don't see it. I'm not having it. There must be horses every single day of the week, in every race, walking into the stalls and walking out and running 40 because they've got their heart rate up. I'm just not buying that at all. I just think it's underprepared.
So why do you think he ran so early?
We'll let Tom answer that in a minute, but I will say that if you take the amount of racing we have every day, there are at least 30 or 40 horses that run 40 pounds below their best every single day.
Is that because their heart rate went up in the stalls?
I've never heard that excuse
I'm not having that.
I don't know.
I'm not having that one bit.
Which wasn't fit,
I don't know. Do you think, though, Tom, maybe with a horse like City of Troy, and if we are to believe all the other stuff about how he never gets tired, which it certainly looked that way at Epsom, it looks like he was a horse who never gets tired. And if we hadn't seen him run the Guineas, we'd be saying, oh my God, he actually never gets tired. But do you think maybe when he ran in the Guineas and he was doing that speed and he was up there with Inisherin, do you think maybe then when he got past, it was almost like, not that he sulked, but it was like, oh God, this is a real shock to the system. What's going on here? And then he just kind of down tools basically, and obviously Ryan was quite easy on him then afterwards. But maybe it was just something that he hadn't been used to, being passed and being beaten, and that probably had an overriding effect on where he finished in the race. I don't know. I would say there has to be some truth to it, Tom. I can't believe Aidan would say, right, here's my book of excuses. What are we going to go for today? Okay, let's go with heartbeat. Let's go with heartbeat and say that his heartbeat was way too high and blah, blah, blah. I don't think...
That's what I think.
But I don't think he can make up that. That's like saying, why isn't your homework in school? And you go, well, actually, I drove to Florida and I was on a beach and a whale took it. And it's just not an excuse you will come up with, I don't think. Do you know what I mean? I think it's the most random excuse. I had never heard that excuse from any trainer ever. And yet Aidan O'Brien is saying this about City of Troy and the Derby. So I don't think it's an excuse you can just pluck from the sky. I don't think it's not in the book, is it? It's not in the excuse book usually.
Well, no, to be fair, it's an original one, but he was in the stalls for 2 seconds. I'm not buying it. I think he was underprepared.
Ross, how do you know the heart rate went up anyway?
Exactly. He was underprepared, he was badly trained, and he wasn't ready for the race. He wasn't ready for the situation he put himself in. Now, there's no way that horse should be beaten 5 lengths by 10 Bob Tony and run 40 pounds below form, even if his heart rate was up. I'm not having it. I'm just not having it. I just think he wasn't prepared for the day. So that would be my take on it. And I think Aiden knows it because I think he was so uptight, so on edge at Epsom because he knew he dropped the ball for the Guineas.
Okay, fair enough.
Good shout.
Poor Ten Bob Tony getting slagged off.
No, sorry,
I
Ten
wish
Bob.
you were on Twitter, Tom. You would get absolute pelters from all the Aidan O'Brien fans if you were on Twitter, but you're not. You don't get to look at it. Right, DJ. Now we've got a bit like in Britain. We've got 2 meetings, but they're of a lower standard than normal for the weekend. Navan on the flat, punch down over jumps. Anything you like?
Yeah, it's not great, but it's grand. You know, it's not terrible. It's somewhere in the middle. It's not fantastic. I'm working at Navan later. A horse of mine actually that I put up on the show a couple of weeks ago that won. Johnny Deneen's very keen on Mayman and the 220. That should probably win that sprint at Navan at 220. It looks a pretty poor race.
What sort of price is it? What sort of price is it?
Yeah, it's into about 5 to 4 now. I think. I thought it would be slightly bigger than that.
It's quite big for Johnny.
I think. Sorry,
it's quite big for Johnny.
That is. Oh, you're doing a show with him in a couple of weeks' time, so we'll get you to get your pelters at him for those short prices. But Mayman, I thought Mayman had a big chance. The main race at Navan is the 3:30. It's that listed race, and Everlasting it's one of these races at this time of year where you have so many unknowns. So Everlasting is rated 102 in his favours. Blue Drum, who's supposed to run the Irish Guineas but didn't because of ground, is around about 7 to 2. But the one that I like is Asian Days, who I thought was pretty unlucky, I thought, at the Curragh. Johnny Murta trains and Shane Kelly rides. She ran the handicap at the Curragh on Guineas weekend, and it was one of these where she had the perfect position under a £7 claimer, Rory Mulligan. But a perfect position in the box seat and third is only the perfect position when the door opens, and the door just never opened. And I just thought with her, and I spoke to Don McLean actually afterwards, who was sitting beside me in the press room, and we both fancied her that day, and we both said she'll win next time wherever she shows up. Now, I didn't know that Johnny was going to throw her into a listed race, but I do think the fact that she's proved now she stays a mile, I think Navan will suit her the long home straight. And I thought she'd take a bit of beating. Jockey bookings is hard to understand really, because Ben Cohen, who's Johnny Murta's number 1, is on Girl Racer, who's a much bigger price, like 3 times the price, and Shane Kelly is on Asian Days, so that's a little bit of a head scratcher. But I will be with Asian Days in the 3:30 at Navan. Punchestown, we have jumping action at Punchestown, and a few short prices like Iker Dubois would have won last time at Killarney had he not got rid of Paul Town at the last. That would probably win the opener. I think it's about 1 to 3. Later on in the card, there is one that I liked in the 4:17. It's a handicap hurdle. It's not the greatest handicap hurdle you'll ever see, but I did think that Warmer Days Ahead ran really well last time. James Duggan takes off £7, and I thought if it was able to reproduce that run when it was well backed actually for a race back at Punchestown, sent off 9 to 2, I think, joint favourite. So I thought it was able to reproduce that effort. It was only just beaten by an improving horse of Gavin Cromwell's called On My Bike. So I would be with Warmer Days Ahead in that race at Punchestown 4:17, and hopefully there is Warmer Days Ahead.
Excellent, DJ, brilliant. Thank you very much. We are moving on. I think we're going to move on to Sunday. I would say that the door never opens. No, door didn't open would have resonated with a lot of people who backed Liberty Lane at Epsom Friday before.
Yeah, I saw your reaction in the office, mate. It wasn't pretty.
Yeah, I mean, you would have liked the jockey to try to open it. but yeah, when it doesn't open, it's really
Welcome
frustrating.
to my life at Goodwood, Keels.
Yeah, absolutely. You said. Right, no, sorry, we're going to move on to Sunday. Sunday now, we have William Hill as sponsors at Goodwood on Sunday, and the opening race is another fiercely competitive handicap, lads. Jamie, anything you like in this? I see you're 9 to 2 to field.
Yeah, it's a good little race to start the card. Like I say, we sponsor at Goodwood tomorrow. Quite enough betting heat so far. Been bits and pieces for Racing Breaks Ryder for his dwindling fan club. He seems to be unlucky quite a lot. Probably left it a bit late last time. I thought Son of Man was quite interesting. He was quite well beaten in the Silver Bowl at Haydock, but it was a bit short of room and never really got a chance to open up. And he's entitled to come on for that. So I thought Son of Man was half interesting.
All right, fair enough. Son of Man for Jamie. Now, I was looking at this.
Can I predict what you're going to say?
Yeah, you can. I think
Darkness.
you're going to get it right.
Yes.
Now, Darkness got 2 very good runs to his name at this track last year.
Exactly.
Got beat a short head of £3 higher. Was only beaten 2 lengths from 4th of 20 in the Golden Mile from stall 15 on that strange year when they all came from wide stalls. Ran no sort of race last time, but I thought he had to work really hard to get to front, and then he got pestered by the stablemate of the winner, Ross Colin, and they did too much in the first two and a half furlongs, I think, and both of them dropped out the back of the telly. So I wouldn't take that as he's out of form, and he is very well handicapped now, although not exactly a prolific winner.
No, the thing about him is he's good from the front, isn't he? He's funny because he's the most David O'Meara horses you expect to be coming from off the pace. This one likes to make the running. I think he'll probably get the lead. I mean, Finn's Charm's in there, who's dangerous, but I think he'll get the lead. And you know how difficult, you know how Goodwood on fast ground getting the lead.
If you can get the lead and
it's
not
a help.
go too fast.
So I get him. I thought Son of the Man was unexposed. Racing Breaks Priorities by Fast Company. I think he might want softer ground.
Yeah, I've backed him a few times this season already. Yeah,
I would prefer a lot of rain for him.
I think we're waiting for the end of the season for him now.
Yeah, and Toymy's son, or whatever he's called, ran really well here last time, didn't he? I'm not surprised he's favourite.
That's you, isn't it, Robbie?
Yeah, I quite like him. I just think he's going to pop up eventually.
Have you anything that isn't favourite this week? So far?
Yeah, but when I looked at them, they weren't favourite. It just looks bad though. Yeah, Toymy's son. Yeah, another one. But basically, he was running in like Criterium Internationals. He ran like the Jersey Stakes. He's a very good horse in his younger days. When he joined Devon Menizier, his first run was April last year. It's only 14 months ago. He's rated 108. He's down to 90 now. He's done 2 of his 3 best RPRs on his last 3 starts for Menizier this season. He's in a bit of form. We know he's well handicapped, so I thought he was quite solid, but he'll probably find trouble and get beaten.
Excellent. Right, now, if I know DJ, he spent the last 5 minutes while we've been chatting away, rifling through this card and finding out a bet for us.
Have I? Is that what I was doing? Yeah. I thought I was gone. What am I supposed to be doing?
I was told DJ's staying with us for the rest of the card.
We were told DJ's got a really strong fancy in the 210 at Goodwood, so we're all waiting for it.
What I did say was that I actually have a very obscure nap today, and I said, will I stay on to talk about the nap, which I think is later on in the show.
Right. Okay.
As regards Goodwood tomorrow, I will be doing something that I do a lot of the time. I will be waffling if I was to give you a tip, because I haven't even looked at it, so apologies.
Okay, no worries, DJ. I dropped you in it. The producers dropped you in it, or dropped me in it. So we'll blame it on them. Right, before we move on, just a reminder that we've got the boost. It is flight plan 11 to 4 to 4 to 1 to finish in the first 3 in the main race, the 3:35 at Haydock. Moving on now, where are we going next? We've got a members club ad. Right, before we move on, don't forget to like, subscribe and share and whatever it is else I was supposed to say at the start of the show. It didn't. We're going to move on now. Last week I was told to come up with a lucky 15 for Royal Ascot with about 2 days' notice. I hope you boys have had a lot longer notice than that. And,
about 2.
And you've you've got yours to come, haven't you?
Yeah.
So who's going first? Tom Segal. Here we are.
I'm cheating because I've been doing anti-post price-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. You found it very easily.
So this took me a minute. But those are my 4. I quite fancy all of them. I think Jassur might be running in a better version of the Commonwealth Cup than I was expecting at the time, but I was very impressed with him twice. If you throw out his bad runs at the back end last season, I think he's as good as any of those. You know, I like the fact that he's a hold-up horse at Ascot. I think they go too fast in straight track races at Ascot. So if he switches off out the back, I could see him going well. Shartash, Robbie alluded to earlier, is just taken his form to a totally different level for Archie Watchin this season. He was a really good 2-year-old, beat Blackbeard, who won 2 Grade 1s. It's not a very good race, the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, at the Jubilee Stakes at the moment. I thought he's got a chance. Gregory, I just wanted to take on Kip Prios. I think he's way too short. I just don't think he's the same horse he was a couple of years ago. I don't think anything of it he did last year suggested to me he was as good as he was. I think Gregory's going to absolutely take off up to 2 miles 4 furlongs. He can do what Courage Mon Ami did last year for the owners. And I just like 3-year-olds in the 5 furlong races. I just do.
Yeah, this is the one that surprised me a little bit. Relief.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't. The narrative around her is that she hasn't trained on, and she's a small thing.
And,
I didn't quite see that last time. I thought that was a really good run at Newbury, because if you remember back that day, it was really hard to come from off the pace. Audience did it, Elite Status did it. She came from a long way back and went past some good horses. William Haggas, straight away after the races, were dropping back in trip. She wants a flat-out 5 furlongs. And if you look back to last year, she was she should have won the Queen Mary. She was in front before and after the line. The time was exactly the same as Big Ev's, basically. So she's right in there with Big Ev's.
After she won the Lowther, his next target was going to be the Abbey, wasn't it?
Yeah, she obviously had a problem after the Lowther. She didn't see her again. So people have sort of ruled her out on the basis that she's gone at the game and she's not as good as she was. Not completely convinced.
Out 5 furlong sprinter.
She could be a 5, and she gets all the allowances. I like 3-year-olds against the older horses, especially when there's not a superstar. There's no Australians that are any good. You know, who are we looking at? Big Evs is the fav. He's a 3-year-old. 3-year-old fillies have a very good record in the race over the years. I don't know. I thought she was much bigger price than 10 to 1 now, but I thought she could run well.
Oh, all English trained as well.
Yeah.
It's not like Cheltenham, is it?
No. It's good, isn't it?
Right, Robbie.
Flat's better, isn't it? Robbie Wilders lucky for death. Right, these are like Tom. This was quite straightforward for me because these are the only 4 bets I've had. Ante post at Ascot. Backed Passenger after the Huxley Stakes.
What price did you get?
13 to 2. It was
after the
one firm went 14 to. It wasn't. It was like 10 days after sort of thing.
That's good.
I was happy enough with that. I mean, obviously, on the clock, it was a superb performance at Chester.
That's it. Once the clock watchers started coming out with their figures,
yeah, exactly.
The price went like that, didn't it?
I actually he was 14 to 1 for that straight off. I thought that was absolute insanity. I couldn't get on with that firm. But I mean, now he's the sort of price he should be, because it is probably going to be a small field, isn't it? Like, who's going to take him on? I feel White Birch if he was going to run. But we don't know this horse's ceiling yet. He's getting better all the time. He's a classic Sir Michael Stat improver, cliche by Ulysses, slow developing.
I was nearly going to say that exact sentence to you. Everybody says it, doesn't it?
It's a cliche, but it's just it's hard to get these out your head sometimes, isn't it? Next one. Now, off air, Tom was sort of saying Opera Singer is going to be very tough to beat in the Coronation Stakes. I thought Buttons ran a really good race against her in the Irish 1000 Guineas. There was only a nose between them at the line, but it was a race where you need to be handy. Fallen Angel, Danny Tollett just controlled it from the outset. Opera Singer was always in a good position, and a Lilac Roller, who was second, was like handy as well. Buttons had a lot of ground to make up, came from quite far back. That was only a 4th run. I thought it was an eye-catching one. If the races run better to Ascot, I could see her going quite close there. She's more likely racing Opera Singer as well. I thought that was encouraging. Middle-earth, looking at the Hardwick. Continuous as a short price favourite for that. He's making his return for Aidan O'Brien. Just thought it's a big danger taking a short price back. He's Aidan O'Brien horse's first time out without a run. He's obviously going to be, he's sort of been kept back for an autumn campaign, I would have thought. I thought Middle-earth did it really well on his return at Newbury in that Carnarvon Stakes, was it? He had to make up a lot of ground in a race that wasn't really run to suit. He seems to have got quicker than he was. He was a bit of a stayer at 3. He won the Noel Merler Stakes. He won that Melrose, produced some really good sort of sectionals in the Melrose. I think he's a very, very smart horse, Middle-earth, and he's going for the race reportedly, and Hardwick always cuts up. Final one, echo what Tom says about Shartash. Yeah, also like the fact that he's got form over 7, because you need to be a strong stayer at 6 at Ascot. And just Archie Watson with his sprinters at Ascot, like he had 3 sprint winners last year, didn't he? He had St. Lawrence he took from Roger Varian and turned him into like a group horse, improved in £10. He's obviously improved Shartash already from getting him from Johnny Murtagh. Looks like he's going for the race, and I think he's value enough at 8 to 1.
Yeah, wrong colours, haven't we? Got the wrong colours. Been bought by Wathnan Racing,
yes,
hasn't he?
Correct.
Well, that's probably what's in our system, though. We don't until he gets entered in a race.
Yeah,
under those owners, we won't get those. We won't get those colours, unfortunately. But never mind. Right, just before we move on to the Nats, I just wanted to go back to DJ and ask him a couple of things. I was talking about Ireland, and as we're talking about Royal Ascot, 2 horses I wanted to get from you, DJ. River Tiber, first of all, not River Tiber. Is it River Tiber?
Yeah, River Tiber.
Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, there's something.
I watched the show last week, and I was waiting for this big swing from you, and it was River Tiber in the St James's Palace Stakes, and I can completely see your point, but not for the first time.
Is he?
Not for the first time in life. We're completely against one another because I think Henry Longfellow is definitely Aidan O'Brien's second best 3-year-old. I have no doubts whatsoever. That was a mess of all. We talk about the 2,000 guineas being a mess for City of Troy. The French 2,000 guineas for Henry Longfellow was a mess of all messes. It was just horrible from start to finish. I still have faith in that horse. I think he has said from very, very early on that it was French guineas, St James's Palace Stakes for Henry Longfellow, and that the St James's Palace Stakes was his number one aim all season, Henry Longfellow. So to me, if City of Troy is able to make the jump from the guineas to the Derby that he did, Henry Longfellow is going to make a massive leap from Longchamp to Ascot. I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat. I still think he's the best of those mile 3-year-olds. I'm keeping the faith, but I can see your point at the price. I think he's that price because Aidan has constantly said that Henry Longfellow is his St James's Palace Stakes.
And I suppose he's in the Commonwealth Cup, and I suppose he'd have the jersey as an opportunity as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the jersey because you'd imagine he'd be a short price favourite and he'd be kind of one on the board for them. So if I was to guess where he'd go, I'd say maybe the jersey.
Oh, well, that's the 1/4 of my lucky 15 down the pan already. Never mind. Right, Opera Singer, just one word on Opera Singer because I thought that was a fair enough comeback. She's going to come forward for that, Ascot?
Absolutely, yeah, I think she'll win. He was, well, look, we spoke about what Aidan said about City of Troy, and you're trying to kind of figure out, the meaning behind it and all that. He was absolutely astonished at how well Opera Singer ran in the Irish Guineas. Now, I did a report on the race, and I mentioned that because it was the stuff he was saying made me think that she wasn't even near ready to run at the Curragh. It was just like, we need to get her out, we need to get her run into her. God only knows how she's going to run. And she didn't disgrace herself at all. I thought she was really good. And I think when she gets to Ascot, she'll be ridden really prominently. And I just go back to that performance at Arc Weekend. I thought it was spectacular. I'd say she's another that could take... I think we're going to see a lot with Aidan's 3-year-olds. I think they're going to take massive jumps forward from their first to second start. So I would be with Opera Singer. But don't throw up your ticket on River Tiber. Like, I'm only guessing here. I have no idea if River Tiber is going to go somewhere else. But I just have a feeling that Henry Longfellow is his number one for St James's Palace Stakes.
Fair enough, DJ. I must say I seem to be the only person who thinks River Tiber should be going for the St James's Palace Stakes. So I could well be wrong there. Right, we better get to the naps then. We might as well stay with you, DJ, because you've got a suit on which suggests you are reporting somewhere today.
I am. I'm working at Navan, but my nap is a very strange one. It's a horse called Sunny Orange in the 320 at Catterick. I watched this horse. There was a load of money for this horse at Redcar the last time it ran, which was about 2 weeks ago. And it was one of the market moves. And the race, you'd be working here and the stuff would be on the background and you're watching. And I watched the race going, oh my God, if anybody participated in this plunge, they would be tearing their hair out because he was definitely the best horse in the race and he only finished 5th. And David Allen rode him on that occasion. Like, he got kind of a bit of a bump after the start and he just got no run, was too far back. He was beaten 4 3/4 lengths. I would say with any normal run, he would have won by maybe 2 lengths. So I'm upgrading the performance by about 6 or 7 lengths. Real eye catch and run. I think Catterick will suit him. Duran Fentiman takes over the ride. He's run off a mark of 56, which is a pound lower than the mark that he should have ran off at Redcar. I think he'd be extremely hard to beat, granted normal look and run, and I'd imagine he'd be more positively ridden. So yeah, Sunny Orange, 320 at Catterick.
DJ, unbelievable. That is fantastic, mate. You are the ultimate professional. I don't even look at Redcar and Catterick unless I absolutely have to. And
those long winter days must fly by,
DJ. Handicapper on a Saturday afternoon. Brilliant. Brilliant. Right, we'll move on to people who've done far less work than DJ, like myself. I'm going for Witch Hunter because I'm a bit of a Witch Hunter groupie, and I think he's better than them.
Yeah, get that.
On to Robbie.
Yeah, the 410 at Haydock off the cameras, Big Bertie Bassett. I don't know if you two have heard of this horse.
There's all sorts, mate. Heard of Bertie Bassett. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, so it's a bit patronising for me. That
he was.
Show a little bit more respect. Yeah,
Not that lazy. We don't know Sonny Orange, but we know Big Bertie Bassett.
Yeah, you'd have known that he was second to Rosalian on his debut on fast ground at Newbury. He then ran in the Pat Eddery Stakes. He was outclassed there, obviously. That was an amazing race. They had like Rosalian running it, Ancient Wisdom, Sunway Al Muzmak. There was just group winners galore. And then he ran in a big handicap at York. It sort of might have come a bit too early. He didn't seem to like the track that day. He's moved from Tom Dascombe to William Muir now. I thought it was an eye-catching seasonal debut at Ascot in that trial race for the Britannia. Docklands won it last year, and he basically won his part of the track. He beat the three ahead of him. All the action was the other side. I thought it was a good run. He's off the same mark. Should be fitter on his second start for William Muir. 5-1's pretty fair kills, I'd say.
Fair enough. And Tom, I was just going to do my best to avoid a Jeremy Hunt moment here. You're going for cheeky wink.
I do the trackers piece for the Racing Post, and she was just a horse that caught my eye running over a mile last time. She's got some good. I just think she's by Massar out of a load of stayers from South Africa. I just think she's going to take a big step forward going up to 1.25 miles. I'd actually like her at 1.5 miles better. I personally wasn't sure. This is a good race. It's a Premier Handicap at Navan, so it's a top class handicap in Ireland. But I think she's the type of horse that will take a big step up for going to 10 furlongs. So I have to stick by my principles. I said that in the trackers piece that the next time she ran over 10 furlongs I'd back her, and so I will today.
Excellent. One more. Jamie McBride over the William Hill trading floor. Give us a winner.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I like Sapphire Seas in the 12 furlong Fillies race. I think this is a lesser contest than the Middleton. She ran reasonably well in last time. So she's for me. She's 6 from 5, with 9-2 from 7-2 Sunny Orange, 11-2 from 9-2 Witch Hunter, 14 from 11 Cheeky Wink, and 5 from 4 Big Bertie Bassett.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Jamie. Right, that's all we've got time for today. Thanks a lot, lads. Thanks, GJ. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Robbie.
Thanks, Gilles.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'm back off to Spain. See you next Saturday.
What a sign.